all across America and across the world, people found Ukrainian flags to hoist, and we still see them in homes around the country as well as businesses around the world. Here in Greenville, the Ukrainian community came to all of us and said they wanted to have a ceremony in front of City Hall, and they talked about presenting a Ukrainian flag. We said, of course, yes. We had a group of about 50 folks who were there. And Councilman Dworkin's not with me tonight, but he was on the site with me. Mm-hmm. And about 50 people had gathered in front of City Hall, and about 10 minutes to go for the ceremony to start. And the woman who organized the event came up to me and was visibly upset because she said, we couldn't find a Ukrainian flag. Mm. They'd gone off the shelves or online and everything. And I said, oh, well, we can still have a moment of silence or ceremony. She said, no, but if you don't mind, we put one together. We made one. It's not very good. We just kind of did it quickly. We got some blue fabric, and she opened up this suitcase, and there was this homemade Ukrainian flag. Well, she stood there with me, and we had about 5 minutes to go at this point, and some public works staff were standing behind me. The next problem was it didn't have any holes in it to put on the flagpole. Well, one of our wonderful city staff folks said, just a minute, Mayor, and grabbed the flag from her, ran into City Hall, and in 10 minutes had figured a way to punch the holes in the rings and came out again with the flag. Mm. And we hoisted that flag for the ceremony. And I really didn't think that flag would last very long. But about a week after the ceremony, by the way, we had a big storm here, and that flag was waving just great, and it's still there today. Oh, cool. So we don't have just any Ukrainian flag. We have a very special Ukrainian flag in Greenville, South Carolina. So I'd like to ask for a few moments of silence on behalf of the people of Ukraine and the people of the world for world peace for Ukraine. Thank you. And now our flag. Pledge
allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember John DeWorkin, Councilmember Lillian Fleming.
Here.
Yeah. Councilmember Ken Gibson.
Here.
Councilmember Will Brazington.
Here.
Councilmember Russell Stahl.
Here.
Councilmember Dorothy Dow.
Here.
Mayor Knox White.
Here. You have the minutes of February 13th. Will stand approved as submitted unless there are any objections. I don't see any. We have one signature for the 3-minute public hearing, Mr. Joe Farmer. And then we have a few people who are here for presentations after that. I think you know the drill. Thank you.
I'm Joe Farmer, 207 Alpine Way. I come tonight to speak about the Board of Zoning Appeals. As you all know, each January they have elections for chair and vice chair. So in February, they re-elected the chair and vice chair. And that's the way this board goes. They kind of doing their own rules. Just want to give you some highlights of what's been going on. Councilwoman Dow was there. I invite the rest of you to come to see what's going on in this committee. The chairman recused himself for the 3rd time in the last 6 months due to a conflict of interest. Another member has been absent 3 of the last 4 meetings. Another member, was cited by the city for an unapproved short-term rental in a condominium where other short-term rentals were denied to applicants. In the Pettigrew district, a short-term rental was denied. The property was sold to an out-of-state investor who was represented by a board member who subsequently applied for a short-term rental exemption and was granted. This month, new owner of Ray's was referred, and at the Ray's, the restaurant bar here in town, just wanted to re-up the current application because when it changes hands, you have to go through the process again. She asked for a request about the security because in late nights you have to have two security officers, one of them being uniformed, and they referred her to the TAC committee. I stood up and, was not opposed to this, but I referenced that a few months prior, a similar request came by from another applicant, and that request was granted. So we don't seem to be following any rules here. It's just the whim. The committee itself admitted they couldn't remember whether they approved or denied the prior request 4 months earlier. The BZA unanimously approved exemptions over staff recommendations and fire marshal reservation recommendations. This past month, a member recommended a short-term rental on Whitsett Street gain approval because, and I quote, "it's so far gone." This committee is just dysfunctional. It needs some guidance. It needs some re-envisionment. It needs some committee member changes. Now, I know you all can't attend all the committees we have, but you do appoint them. They should be responsible to you. This particular committee, being that you don't have any oversight upon their decision, that their decision is final, sorry. Thank you.
That's okay. Thank you very much. 8A?
Yes, Mayor, this is a presentation that's being given by Beth Paul,
Beth Paul.
Yes. Bon Secours Wellness Arena.
Yeah. Thank you. Good to have you with us.
Oh, thank you for having me here. It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be part of the Greenville community and lead the Bon Secours Wellness Arena. And thank you for giving me a few minutes of time today. So I've been here before. It's been some time, probably before the pandemic, since the last time I presented to council. So I'm just going to run through a few objectives that the arena has on an ongoing basis, touch on some exciting upcoming events, and then happy to answer any questions should there be any. So the Arena District, we really focus on four main principles: maintaining a strong financial position, community impact, making sure that we continue to be a relevant asset to Greenville, organizational health, making sure that we have adequate workforce, adequate resources to continue to plan well into the future, and to always create an experience that not only our fans, but our clients, our partners, our constituents are really proud of, and truly they can't wait to come back. So we have experienced significant financial growth over the past probably 10 years, but significantly in the past 5 years, despite COVID and not really even operating for 12 months. In the past 5 years, we've seen a 17% increase in operating revenues. We've invested $7 million into the arena in various projects. Our net position has improved 61% over time. And then on the building itself, we have $17 million in outstanding debt. And then I just put these two bullets at the bottom. We also focus on transparency. So our annual audit is conducted by Green Finney Cawley. We have monthly board meetings, and so they're open to the public. Anybody is welcome to attend those monthly board meetings. I put 3 charts here, really just to provide a very baseline for how we generate revenues, operating revenues of the arena. 62% of our arenas of our revenues come from events, 14% from corporate partnerships, 17% from premium seating, and then another 7% from miscellaneous. So when we plan out our years, we really focus heavily, obviously, on that event piece of the pie. When we look at events, 54% of our revenues come from concerts. So we have fewer of them. We have about 25 to 30 a year, but 54% of our revenue comes from concerts, 35% from sporting events, and then smaller pieces of the pie and family and other. And then just I put a simple chart there for you to review at the future about how we incur operating expenses. So put this slide in here because truly our event calendar is driven not only by our efforts here in Greenville, but the partnerships we have in the industry. All of our success is really based on partnerships. We deal with between 25 and 30 unique promoters a year. Live Nation and Feld are the first two on this screen. They bring in almost 30 to 35 events a year. So we really focus in on those partnerships. And all these are rather unique, right? We think that it's important to have a wide range of promoters that can bring diverse entertainment into Greenville. One strategy that we've had for several years has been to focus on the Latin market as well as more minority based artists and entertainment. And we've identified 5 new promoter relationships in the past year that'll help us achieve some goals that we have there. We're also successful because of our corporate partnerships. Greenville is so blessed to have such a strong corporate community. These are some of our sponsors, but we also have a tremendous number of suite holders and premium seat holders. Over 120 local businesses support the arena and therefore help us grow those revenues that we're always trying to do. We're really going to have a client retention strategy now. We have about a 95 to 96% retention rate on these corporate partnerships. What's so interesting about these is we plan long-term. The more long-term contracts we have, the better we can plan out the future of the arena. Being a community asset, our goal is to be a relevant asset to Greenville and to improve the quality of life and the economy of Greenville. We do that through event programming. We do 120 to 130 events a year. We have about 500 to 600,000 people that come to the arena each year for commercial events. And again, I specifically put this photo of that's Band to MS. We have been successful in finding a promoter that can really help us achieve some of those diversity goals. This particular promoter specializes in bands that originate out of Mexico. They've brought 2 to Greenville thus far and have 2 more on the books for the future. And so we're really excited about that. And then last year, 25% of our concerts were headlined by a African-American or Hispanic artist. And then in fiscal 23, we're trending to about 33%. We'd love to see that number just continue to grow each year. The other way we think that we strive to impact the Greenville is through the economy. We do this in a number of ways. One of them, of course, is bringing in visitors from out of town. We took some data from fiscal 22. I don't have all the data from fiscal 23. 53% of our attendees that we have information on came from outside of the MSA. There were some inside the MSA and then outside of South Carolina as well. We think that we generate, based on metrics that were used in the past, approximately 40,000 room nights a year. And we employ right now almost 500 employees at the Arena District. We work with a number of other subcontractors that would push that full-time equivalent job closer to 750 or 1,000 jobs. The other way we do this, we impact the community, is through non-traditional, non-commercial events. So the arena is a space where nonprofits and philanthropic entities can come and rent our facility at no cost, or we help them with a specific cause that they have. And so last year we hosted over 50 community events. I've listed a few here that are on a recurring basis or something that we're really proud of. We also donated over 1,000 tickets valued at $80,000 to the nonprofit community. The picture on the top right is Skate, Roll, and Stroll, which we created as an event where individuals with disabilities can come and enjoy the ice. We usually do it before or after a public skating session. I know for a fact that families drive in from Charlotte and Raleigh just to attend this. I'm in Atlanta because it's such a great thing that Greenville has to offer. The photo on the bottom is Project Search Graduation, which is a really tremendous event in June where the interns from Bon Secours St. Francis Hospital graduate. It's an extension of Greenville County School District. Organizational health, I won't spend too much time on this slide. We are just focused on making sure that the Arena District has the resources it needs to position itself for growth into the future. We are going to be 25 years old in September, which is amazing. We've been so fortunate to have great partnerships to get us to 25, and we're focused on what the next 25 years or beyond will look like for the Arena District. And the last fundamental we really focus on is creating unforgettable experiences. We want when anybody comes to our arena to leave and can't wait to come back and make sure that they're having a really great time when we're there. We really have focused the past probably more than 12 months on individuals with disabilities. We're seeing that number of individuals grow that attend. So Greenville has a very unique asset. Not many arenas have a sensory suite. We could use it every time, or we do use it every time. We could use many more. And we just really focus on reinvesting in the arena and the infrastructure and the asset itself, as well as the people, to make sure that we have these unforgettable experiences and that people leave, again, thinking about the arena in Greenville and what a fantastic place it is to be. The next slide is we are 2 days away from March Madness, so it's very exciting. We have a couple of new things here today. I don't know if you saw the coverage yesterday. ESPN announced that they'll do game day on Sunday, and so we'll do that. They'll set up their stage, and it's a wonderful national broadcast that will be running all Sunday morning leading up to the championship. We're doing a downtown dribble. I think we have over 500 children registered. They'll pick up basketballs at Noma Square, dribble down Alford Street.
Oh, that's great.
And
Looking for something like that.
so the photo is actually from the dribble that they did in Nashville last year. The Greenville Events Department has been tremendous in helping us get that planned, so it's very exciting. And 2 weeks after the SEC, we will have the Sweet 16 Elite 8 March Madness here. So Selection Sunday is March the 12th. The last reveal had Virginia Tech coming, University of South Carolina, UConn, all subject to change, of course, but it's fun to play a little bit of a guessing game leading up to that. So that'll be great. The only other city in America to have the NCAA March Madness is Seattle. So very exciting to be able to host that. We'll start welcoming teams in tomorrow to the building to start practice, I believe at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. So very excited about it. So I talked about partnerships earlier, and we are truly grateful for the partnership with Greenville, the city of Greenville. I've listed a few departments that we sort of have on a first name basis where I might have the phone number memorized. Of course, we touch all the departments in Greenville. The police department, the fire department are instrumental in our success. They help with safety. They help with making sure that we're meeting all the codes, and really they're just an extension of our team. Building and permits as well. They work closely with the fire department to make sure that we're getting all the right boxes checked. Greenville Parks, Recs, and Tourism. Perfect example is the downtown dribble. We're excited to be able to host that. Public Works. When we found out there was a possibility for game day, Public Works swooped in and helped us with our landscaping so that we look really nice in the back. But they're always ready to help. The Office of Management and Budget. We have, of course, some really significant and meaningful contractual items with the city of Greenville, and we're making sure that we're transacting properly. And that department has taken a tremendous amount of time and effort to understand our business and to help us, again, be as successful as we can be. And the planning and development. And I think this is important now, and it'll be even more important when we look into the future for the next 25 years. And then the city manager's office, is always a phone call away for me. So I always feel supported. I always feel like we have a great relationship with the city. And I do hope that you guys feel the same way about the Arena District.
Beth, you have some of your board members here?
I do. I have Buddy Dyer, has been a board member for a number of years. 12 years. Neetu Patel's the chairman of the board of directors, and Amber Drummond. So excited they could join us today.
It's been a great 25-year relationship. If anybody wants to understand how Greenville works and who we are and what we are, you just go back 25 years when public-private partnerships in a complicated project, and yet it all got done, and the relationship that's gone on from there. But particularly want to thank you for your great relationship with the city from day one and your vision for the future of the next 25 years. And that's something. I mean, the public-private partnership is just beginning because we've got some great ideas and working with you on what we're going to do for the next 25 years. And certainly a big part of it is connecting the arena better to the downtown Main Street in terms of pedestrian access and all the amenities of downtown. So it's just a pleasure to work with you. And thank you for the dribble event. We knew last time there was something missing. There was something we needed to do here. And
Mr. Mayor,
you found the something.
We have downtown dribble and ESPN game day. That'll be fun. Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful.
I wouldn't want to let Beth get away without acknowledging all that you do. I know you have a huge team at the Well, and You and I met personally a couple of years ago. Beth chairs our VGSC board very well.
Yep.
Beth brings in concerts exceptionally well. She is competitive, right?
Yes.
She wants to get them here as badly as we all want to get them here. And I appreciate you so much as a colleague, and the work that you do at the Well. We're in good hands and grateful for the partnership. You and I spend a pretty good amount of time together, a lot of time this week through the weekend, for sure. And I know that our customers, an example being the SEC Women's Tournament coming, I don't think that would be here if it wasn't for Beth. So we talk about closing deals. She can close those deals and leave them with confidence that things will be taken care of first class. And so I just really commend you on all the work that you do and your board for supporting you.
We do appreciate you, Beth.
Yeah.
And Knox, I imagine if you dust off your Wake Forest jersey, she'll loan you a basketball to dribble down Elford Street.
You can lead it. You can be the
I'm kind of
marshal.
slow, but I get the idea that blue is your color, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it all in the slides.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a new sign in the arena that said, the SEC brought, it says Greenville, home of the SEC. And I was like, oh, they added home of.
Yeah.
Yes.
Proud to be the home.
Huge week this
Yeah.
week.
Thank you.
Thanks, Beth.
Thank you all for your time. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
thank you.
Yep.
Paul, you're up next. Item 9A.
Yes, Mayor, this is a proposed abandonment of the remaining portion of Kellett Drive public hearing.
Evening, Mayor and Council. This is not nearly as exciting as game day. So we're looking at a public hearing item right now for an abandonment of Kellett Drive. It's oftentimes an abandonment of a road is a pretty clear cut. This one isn't exactly. So I'm going to give you a little background and I'll give you some information on public comment regarding this abandonment. So Kellett Drive is off of Lawrence between Bradshaw, Mazda. Just north of Henderson Road. It does connect to the Annecy townhomes. And currently there is an open access for those residents who could use Kellett Drive to get out to Lawrence Road. The Kellett Drive itself was created in about anywhere between 1919 and 1941. We could not find any recorded deed that the city owns the right of way. So know that moving forward. But this process, if it moves forward, obviously would take care of that question if the city were to abandon this drive. The site plans for the Annecy residential area in 2000 called for gravel emergency access. So the abandonment calls for removal of Kellett Drive, but a development plan that shows fire access still being retained through those properties, through those Anderson Motor properties. As we always do with abandonment, we send out mailers for the area and solicit comments. We also we also send out for utilities and interdepartmental city comments. The utility side of things, there were no complaints on this abandonment. Even fire acknowledged that the fire access that they are still providing would suffice for what they need for the emergency access. Now, the residents in Annecy, we got 5 or 6 responses via email or phone. All of them were recommending denial of this for various reasons, as they use this from time to time for access. And of course, if they're doing maintenance within the neighborhood, they'd like to have that option as a secondary access. Planning department also is recommending denial, mainly on interconnectivity. Greenville 2040 plan, Swamp Rabbit Trail extension, and in the light of interconnectivity, planning is recommending denial. With that, I'll take any questions.
Got a question, Mr. Mayor. So you reference Annecy. I'm looking at the map, but at the end of the red line on the map, speaking of interconnectivity, does it go to anything beyond and behind Annecy Park?
No, it goes to just a gravel entrance into Annecy.
Just kind of fades away, fizzles out.
That's right. Well, into the residential area, yes.
Good question.
You-
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, okay.
Councilman Deb.
Go ahead.
So next steps, this is just public hearing, next steps will go to PC? Nothing?
It would come back here for two
For-
readings of an ordinance for first and second reading. Tonight's the public hearing
Public
only.
hearing.
And at some point, we'll
Yeah.
hear about planning's concerns on it.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay.
and we'll provide a report.
This
And
puts it
city
out
staff will
there
provide a
for
report.
public comment, so we'll, if you don't mind, council, we'll do the public comment first and then from there.
I'll wait.
Anyone else who wishes to speak on this matter? Public comment? Okay, yes, sir. Okay, got some people behind you, Paul. It's a public hearing process. Okay, yes, sir. If you keep,
But I'm William Bradshaw. I was owner of Bradshaw Mazda and Bradshaw Acura. I personally spent about 20 years trying to buy property up and down Kellett. And the last piece we bought was from Mr. Kellett at the end. And he said when he passed it, his family would sell a piece of property. So we had to buy like 3 or 4 pieces. And it was my understanding that that driveway that comes in the backside of Anstey was used for a construction entrance when it was being built. And it had a gate on it. And we've been talking to the city and the fire department, primarily the fire department, about closing this road probably for 20 years, or 10 years. And the fire department said they had to keep access. So when we just built the new Mazda store, we made our drive big enough to where the fire truck could get in, and the fire department would put a lock on it where they could get in and out. But the people going into the Anstey Park, they can come out at a red light on Henderson, or they can come out of what is now more like a driveway than it is a road. But, fire department supports it, police department supports it, engineering supports it. And I was on the Verde committee when they were talking about doing future Swamp Rabbit Trail, and that any talk of getting access from this side of the highway or Lawrence Road, they talked about doing that on Henderson to get back over to. So I don't see where Swamp Rabbit Trail would cause this not to be closed and abandoned. And I just, all along the way, I had been led to believe that this wouldn't be an issue, wouldn't be a problem if the fire department had access to get in there. So we've done every step that we need to do to get to this point and, try to go through all the proper processes. And if anybody goes over and looks at it, it's just a back entrance down a driveway that goes to nowhere other than a back door to get into that community. And if they go out the other entrance, they get out on a red light. So that's all I just
All right,
wanted
thank
to
you.
give that 2 cents. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir. Anyone?
Thank you. My name is Scott Johnson,
And I'm Pamela Ortega.
and I was one of the letter drafters that you received. I've been the Anstey Park Homeowners Association president for 9 years, and I've lived in the community for 17 years. You've lived
4 years.
4 years. So we tend to disagree. Our board is against it. We've got a board of 5 people that are against blocking this entrance. And primary reason is, when the community was planned and built almost 23 years ago, we've used this for a number of purposes, for emergency egress when there's problems at the intersection of Lawrence Road and Henderson, or Henderson Road, and we have to have our 103 residents have a backup for exit and egress. And we've seen on a number of occasions too, the Greenville Fire Department has used it to be able to access and get through the community. Otherwise, there's a lot of difficulty trying to back up through the community. Do you have any other
Yeah, no, it is true. And probably the people that use it mainly are who lives in the community, but I have seen it use it many times. I'm actually the unit that you can see the street and it's busy. You always see people coming in and out.
Yeah. In fact, what I'd like to add is, I mean, you may not be aware of this, but Mr. Bradshaw Bradshaw's been really good neighbors of ours for years. So there's nothing against Bradshaw because he's been a really good neighbor. But the fact of the matter is Mr. Bradshaw doesn't own it any longer. So if you've seen the signs change, there's Fred Anderson that owns it. Fred Anderson isn't here tonight. So, and then we'd also recommend too, as far as with planning objecting to it. I think that's sends a strong message if the planning department is rejecting it. We also have plans long-term to pave it. We have plans long-term to re-landscape it and enhance it as a back entrance. So that's all I would really like to add.
All right, thank you.
So,
All right.
thank you.
Any questions, comments? Yeah.
Question. I drive this all the time.
Okay,
I could see if I lived in that community,
yeah.
you know, we get really good at shortcuts,
Yeah.
especially moms who drive kids.
Yeah.
Not that I'm in that business anymore, but I would hazard a guess that a lot of people heading south on Lawrence are taking Kellett Drive to get into the community versus going up to Henderson where there could be a red light.
Yeah.
I could get home quicker by taking Kellett. Coming out, it's only useful to me if I'm turning right on Lawrence. I would never jump out of there and go left on Lawrence. I guess I'm asking you, is that kind of the general traffic flow of how it's used in the community or?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, no. I mean, my main concern is, if we have, for example, we have a lot of the roofs getting replaced right now. So a roofing contractor will come in with a big trailer.
Okay.
Well, you can imagine they can't navigate and they can't get around the tight streets in our community. So they're going through one way and that contractor may go out Kellett Drive because they can't.
So they have to
turn.
change direction.
They can't turn or there's no way to get out the other way.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The same happens with moving trucks. When I moved, it was the same. We had to do a little thing and then go around to be able to.
I would say for me, I would be more concerned, not so much with the shortcuts. Of course, if everyone's going to want to take a shortcut, but I'd be more concerned for me is the roofing contractors, moving trucks, the fire trucks. That's what's my most concern.
Okay.
And just as a regular user, when I moved into the community 4 years ago, I was like, I'm never going to take that. I'd rather go to the front where it's beautiful, it looks nice, and there's the street light.
Mm-hmm.
But I see myself more often than not taking it. It's just like, it's right there. I can use it. It's safe. It gets me where I need to go. When I get to Lawrence, I can go, if I'm turning left, I can get in the medium where I can safely continue my trip. So it gets used.
Yep.
Glad I asked. Thanks.
Good comments, okay. Thank you, that concludes the public hearing on
Thank
this
you.
matter.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming down, everybody, Mr. William and everybody else. Okay, we have the consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion and a second. Clerk, call the roll.
I'm sorry, who gave me the second, please?
I did, I think.
Thank you.
I think she did too. Okay.
Councilmember Fleming. Councilmember Gibson.
Aye.
Councilmember Brazington.
Aye.
Councilmember Stahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Dow.
Aye.
Mayor White.
Aye. Thank you very much. Regular agenda 15A.
An ordinance to appropriate $40,000 from the Unified Planning Work Program from the Greenville Pickens Area Transportation Study Committee in the Miscellaneous Grants Fund and $150,000 from the Capital Projects Fund Economic Development Project for Phase 2 of the Downtown Transportation Master Plan.
Approve it.
Second. Want to hear from Clint?
Always.
Always.
Always. Thank you.
Anytime I can hear from Clint, I want to hear from Clint.
Happy
Briefly.
to oblige. Mayor and council, this is a continuation of the Downtown Transportation Master Plan. We did phase 1 in 2019, adopted it late 2019. It's taken us a couple of years to kind of get to this point of moving forward with the second phase. Basically, this is looking at traffic conditions, pedestrian safety, multimodal transportation needs within our downtown area, our central business district, and slightly outside of that. But did a good, we have a good project that was done for phase one where we identified a lot of, I think it was about 65 different short-term needs type projects. They ranged anywhere from simple restriping, reconfiguration of some intersections through restriping, signal timing improvements, just continuation of bike lanes, connecting our bike infrastructure facilities, completing sidewalk gaps, those sort of things. A lot of short-term type projects. What this next phase will do is kind of look at the next 20 years of traffic growth, the areas that have been identified for, where we're going to expect to see more dense growth through our downtown strategic master plan, and look at those corridors where we're expecting congestion, and some of those long-term planning solutions that will need to be considered as the city continues to grow. So this will help us kind of refine those short-term projects, and then look at, as well as the larger, more complex long-term solutions. We'll ultimately come back with high-level planning cost estimates, as well as a prioritized list of projects that we can consider for city CIP budgeting, as well as GPAT's long-range planning type projects.
Glad you mentioned the neighborhood improvement bond and the intelligent transportation management system, which we're really spending a lot of time, energy, and effort on. So good to see that moving forward to a degree anyway with this.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, we had a motion and a second.
So moved.
Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Fleming, Councilmember Gibson,
Aye.
Councilmember Brazington.
Aye.
Councilmember Stahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Dow.
Aye.
Mayor White.
Aye. That completes the agenda. Mr. Manager, got anything new to add? Okay, thank you, council, for the good work on the economic development projects in the meeting before this meeting, but you're earned to keep on that. Thank you much.
6:11 PM.